Hey, guess what? It is our 14th birthday here on YouTube. That's right, Clean My Space turns 14, and that is pretty cool. We are celebrating with a different kind of package, a package that consists of a video talking about how to clean different types of floors, specifically hardwood floors, laminate floors, and luxury vinyl tile floors. These are all floors that I have a lot of experience cleaning, so I want to break down what the difference is between these floors, kind of how they're installed, because I always find the why behind it really helps you inform the how when it comes to cleaning. So of course, we'll talk about the why, and then I'm going to give you the instructions on exactly how to clean and care for each type of floor. So sit down, have a piece of cake with me, and let's get through this flooring stuff. Hey, give this video a quick thumbs up, A, for birthday celebrations, and B, for snow, because I am going to need snowshoes to get out of my house today, just as a quick little aside there.
And just a quick reminder, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe to the Clean My Space channel. And I wanted to let you know that this video is brought to you by Makers Clean, our sister company where we sell premium microfiber cleaning tools and more.
If your floors look like wood, they're likely either hardwood, engineered hardwood, which for this particular video we're going to treat as the same, laminate, or luxury vinyl flooring. So quickly, hardwood or engineered hardwood has an actual wood surface to it and a wood base. There are some technical differences, we're not going to get into it, so we have to treat it like wood. Laminate is a variety of different layers all laminated together with kind of a photo of something that looks like wood on top. So it's got its own specific needs. And then luxury vinyl flooring is comprised of PVC or polyvinyl chloride, and it can be made to look like just about any finish. The key benefit to that is it is waterproof, but it's also vinyl, so it's soft and it can scratch. All three of these floors have pros and cons, and they have to be cleaned in slightly different ways. Next up, some general do's and don'ts for all of these floors. And these are gonna come out of my mouth in no particular order, so I'm sorry if it's not a cohesive list of all the do's and all the don'ts. First, you always want to sweep or vacuum before you mop, and you don't want to use the beater bar on your vacuum when you're cleaning a hard floor surface. Beater bars are that roller brush on your vacuum that is designed to kind of pull things out of your carpet and get them super clean. It can scratch or damage hard floor surfaces, so always use that soft bristle brush on your vacuum when you're cleaning your hard floors, or sweep them. Only when that's done can you mop. If you don't do that, you're gonna scratch your floors. You do wanna make sure that you're using protection on the bottom of your furniture, felt pads, because if you don't do that, your floors can scratch, and these floors are particularly difficult to repair. The whole gamut. You might have to remove the plank, you might have to refinish it, and it's always going to be an eyesore. Do mop in the direction of the grain. If you mop in the opposite direction of the way that the grain runs or the floor is laid, you're going to see streaks. Don't use a steam mop. Steam is just no bueno for this type of flooring. I know all the steam mop companies are going to tell you that theirs are safe, but if you talk to the flooring installers and the flooring manufacturers, they're gonna tell you they're not safe. So in this case, I'm gonna side with the manufacturers and not the people who are trying to sell you the cleaning tools. You do wanna make sure you're using the appropriate type of mop when you're cleaning this floor. If you use a string mop or a yacht mop, you're gonna leave too much moisture behind, and that is not good for this type of flooring. So you wanna use a flathead mop and as minimal moisture as possible to clean the floors. In fact, you can even follow up with a final mop with just a dry pad to remove any excess moisture. Do make sure that when there are any spills or stains, they are cleaned up immediately. That goes for anything from water up to paint, nail polish, cat puke, or juice. It all has to go. Despite how durable your flooring might be, even your luxury vinyl tile or flooring, which you know is waterproof, you can still deal with stains. So anytime there's a stain or moisture or liquid on a surface, just blot it up and clean it as soon as you can. Don't use any old product to mop your floor. In fact, hardwood and engineered hardwood, laminate, and luxury vinyl tile all have different requirements in terms of how they need to be cleaned. So make sure that you know the type of flooring you have, you do your research, and you use the appropriate product so that your floors can last a good long time and look beautiful.
First up, luxury vinyl tile, and you'll notice that this isn't always in the square shape of a tile. In fact, what I have in my basement looks exactly like hardwood floors. And that's what's so cool about it, because the color that we chose here in the basement matches what we have upstairs. It's a very, very flexible material when it comes to styling and matching. The reason we chose it for our basement and why it is often recommended for basements is because of how durable it is. A lot of horseplay happens down here, and also how waterproof it is. Luxury vinyl tile is also famous for how easy it is to maintain.
But in terms of mopping the floor, the things that you want to keep in mind, you don't want to use any detergent that has a high pH to it. So that would be, anything that's corrosive, plus bleach or ammonia-based products you would not want to use on the floor. The other thing I will say to stay away from is anything that leaves kind of a hazy glaze on a floor. So a wood oil soap, not appropriate for luxury vinyl tile. Even something that is supposed to leave a shine. Those are great for tile, those are not great for this type of flooring. So we have a very basic recipe that works really well, and in fact, most of the time I find it doesn't even need a rinse. I have a little rhyme and I'm gonna share it with you, and it applies to all the floors, and that is less is more when mopping the floor. Say it with me. Less is more when mopping the floor. Less is more when mopping the floor. And the reason that's important is because the more soapy stuff you use, the stickier things are gonna feel underfoot. So you actually want your floor cleaner to be very well diluted so that you don't feel that stickiness, and it rinses and dries clean. To mix this up, you're going to use 2 cups of warm water, a 1/4 cup of white vinegar, 1/8 of a cup of rubbing alcohol, 1/8 of a teaspoon of dish soap. It's just a few little drops, and 5 to 10 drops of your favorite essential oil if you feel up for it. I'm recommending to use this recipe in a spray bottle and spraying it on the floor right before you mop it up. But if you are more of a bucket kind of guy or gal, you can up this recipe and put it in a bucket and work that way. The first thing to know about hardwood floor is you can have finished hardwood and unfinished hardwood. Now, the quickest way to find out if your floors are unfinished is to take a drop of water and just put it on the floor. If it beads, you know that your floor is finished. If the water soaks in, the floors are unfinished. And what that tells you is that you can't use moisture on your unfinished floors. So in the event that that is you are just sweeping your floors, you are not using moisture or liquid to clean them. And if something spills, you gotta blot it up immediately. So with that being said, we have a very straightforward DIY recipe that you can use. Now in this recipe, it's essentially the same as the luxury vinyl tile cleaner, but we've backed out the rubbing alcohol. And the reason that is because the particular type of varnish that hardwood or engineered hardwood has doesn't love rubbing alcohol, whereas rubbing alcohol is great on the other 2 types of finishes because it helps water dry quickly. If hardwood and luxury vinyl and laminate were all out for dinner, laminate would be the one that made all kinds of modifications to its order. It's finicky. All right, and here's what laminate is. It's just a pile of different layers all stuck together with a photo of something on top. It behaves like hardwood in that it doesn't like moisture, but then the top layer gets really streaky if you clean it with the wrong thing. And if you use the wrong product, it can expand and contract and do that weird behavior that wood does. So you gotta be really picky with the way that you clean your laminate. That said, it's pretty durable, so that's why people love it, and it's also way less expensive than hardwood. Okay, so the way that you wanna clean it is like this. You wanna avoid any type of soapy detergent whatsoever. So in the DIY recipe that we have put together, you'll see there's vinegar, you'll see there's rubbing alcohol, you'll see there's water, but there is no soap. So here it is. For our DIY recipe, use 2 cups of warm water, 1/2 cup of white vinegar, 1/2 cup of rubbing alcohol, and of course, 5 to 10 drops of your favorite essential oils if you're feeling adventurous. If you're looking for a great mop to clean your floors with, why don't you check out the Maker's Mop? Yeah, I'm biased. It's a taco-shaped mop, but it won the Good Housekeeping 2021 Cleaning Awards, so you can check out makersclean.com to learn more.
My hope is that you've had a piece of cake and that you now know how to clean all of the different types of hard floor surfaces that we covered in this video today. Trust me, once you have that information and you know what to do, you will feel so much more confident in taking care of your floors, and they truly will shine. And that brings me to this week's comment question, which is, if you could have any kind of floor in your home. I know some of us have a mix, but if you could change one floor in your home to something else, what would it be? Would you change it to luxury vinyl tile? Would you change it to hardwood, laminate, slate, marble, 24 karat gold, carpet, luxurious? Let me know in the comments down below. If I could have any kind of floor, I think they would be heated slate. If you love what we do here at Clean My Space, you can take it a step further and become a member. Of course, if you're not a member, you will get access to all of our amazing videos, but if you are a member, you get a little bit more. And if you want to check out that video where I talk about how to use the Maker's Mop, you can click this button right over here. It's going to review all of those great details for you and so much more. Don't forget to subscribe to the Clean My Space channel if you haven't done so already. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.